Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to take a very quick look at the game Castle Panic. Castle Panic is for 1 to 6 players, ages 10 and up, and the average play time is about 30 minutes. Now this is a cooperative tower defense game that basically tasks players with keeping this castle alive while at the same time fending off waves of enemies. Let's just take a quick moment to look at the components and how the game is played. As far as the components are concerned, you've got these monster tokens over here on the left. You've got things like goblins and orcs, but you also have some non-monster entities like plagues and special actions that tell the monsters how to move on the field. To sum them up, basically players are going to have to defeat every single one of these tokens in order to win the game. In order to do that, players are going to need to play these cards. Now, there are different card types in this deck. There are some basic ones here. Let me see if I can zoom in on these. But these cards, like the swordsman and the archer and the hero, these are basically your troops that you'll be able to use in order to attack the monsters as they advance on your castle. You've got some special cards like the Nice Shot card. It's basically an insta-kill with anyone that you manage to hit. You've also got some defensive cards like the Brick and Mortar to help shore up your defenses. Basically what this does, when a player plays these two cards in unison, they'll be able to rebuild these walls as they fall during the game. Now you also have some other defensive measures, like you have this Fortify wall and you've got Tar, as represented by these little tokens here. Tar serves to slow monsters up as they advance, and this Fortify wall fits right over one of these wall pieces. And basically it gives that particular wall an extra hit before it falls. The board itself is broken up into 6 different sections, 2 of which belong to a particular color. For example, this 1 and 2 section belong in the red area. You've got 3 and 4 here, which belong in the green area, and you've got 5 and 6, which belong in the blue area. And you've also got rings on this board. You've got the forest ring, which basically serves as the location where monsters will spawn. And you've got the archer, the knight, and the swordsman ring. Basically, this just means that that is the range that players will need to take into consideration whenever they play their attack cards. For example, only swordsmen can attack monsters in the swordsman ring. Only archers can attack monsters in the archer ring. Different things like that. Now, as far as setting up the game goes, players will place 6 towers on the inside in the middle of the board here, and then 6 walls to surround them. Basically, that serves as the castle. Now, in order to seed the board initially, you're going to draw 3 goblins, 2 orcs, and 1 troll from your pile of monsters over here. And then you're going to roll this die to see where they spawn. Now, it's important to note that you can only have 1 monster in 1 section initially. So 1 monster is going to go in each of the 6 starting arcs. So if I were to roll this 1, I would simply match that die roll with the 1 over there, and then I would place one of those monsters down. Again, the forest is where they spawn, so that's where that orc went. I would roll the dice again, or the die again. 6 came up, so I would go ahead and place 1 right there. Roll it again. 2. Alright. And again, 6. There's already 1 there, and as I noted, you can only have 1 per arc at the beginning of the game. Later on, you can have as many as you want, but initially it's 1 per arc. 2, and basically you get the idea. Players are just going to go ahead and seed these with die rolls until the board is set up like so. Now at this point, players will draw cards from the deck to form their starting hand. And the number of cards a player can have in their hand throughout the whole game all depends on how many people are actually playing. If 2 people are playing, for example, each player could have 6 cards in their hand. If 6 people are playing, then each player could only have 4 cards in their hand. Now, a player's turn is broken up into 6 different steps, but in all honesty, it's not all that complicated. The very first step is to draw up, meaning that you simply draw from the deck in order to reach your hand limit. Again, that all depends on how many people are playing the game. Step 2 is to discard if you want to and draw up to that many cards. And the number of cards that you can discard and draw up all depends again on how many people are playing the game. Step 3, trade cards. Again, you're limited to how many cards you can trade with other players depending on how many people are playing the game. Step 4, you can play as many cards as you want, basically in an attempt to destroy these monsters on the board. Step 5, move monsters up a ring. And finally, step 6, draw 2 new monsters, and again, you'll be using the die in order to spawn them. And really, that's all there is to it. Players will take turns drawing cards, playing cards, spawning monsters, until either all of the walls and the towers have fallen, in which case the players lose as a collective, or until all of these monster tokens have been defeated, in which case the players win the game. Alright, and just to quickly illustrate, Viddy and I are going to go ahead and play through a few practice rounds. Now, 2 things I want to briefly touch on before we actually start. 1, each monster has hit points on it, represented by these numbers. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Alright, now we've got a number 2 down here, and and a number 1 up here. Basically, whatever direction that the orc is facing is where the current hit points will be facing. So in this case, the orc came from the 5 space. So its full life will be pointing toward the castle, in this case 2. As it takes damage, it'll rotate over to 1, and if it takes damage again, it'll be removed from the board. Now, the other thing I want to mention, and just to correct myself on, at the beginning of the game, these monsters don't actually start on the forest area, they start on this archer ring. Alright. So now that that's corrected, Vinny, you can go ahead and start us off. The first part of your turn is to... No, you can leave your cards there, because I need to see them. To draw up, which we already start with a full hand size, so that doesn't matter. Step 2, you can discard and draw a card if you want. Alright, what are you going to discard? The red archer. Alright, you picked up. Now, step 3, trade cards. We have the ability to trade 1 card.
I'll give you the any color swordsman for that archer.
Alright. So, I get the any color swordsman for the blue archer. Now, the reason why these different heroes and troops are different colors, that determines where they can actually attack. The blue archer can attack monsters on the blue archer ring, but a blue archer cannot attack monsters on the green archer ring. On the other hand, you've got these special cards like any color swordsman. This card lets me attack any monster in the swordsman ring, no matter what color they are. So you have to pay attention to what color cards you have and what rings they attack. Alright, now you can play as many cards as you want. So what are you going to do with those?
I will play these 3, an archer, and a hero.
Okay, let me see these real quick. Alright, so you've got 2 archers and a hero. Now the 2 blue archers can attack these 2, and the hero, let's see, it hits 1 monster in the archer, knight, or swordsman ring of the blue arc. Okay, so you can basically attack any monster in the blue arc. So that does potentially does 3 units of damage. So what are you going to be attacking? The troll. The troll has 3 life points on it. So with these 3 cards that would hit this troll 3 times, it would rotate to 2, to 1, and then to nothing, and the troll is removed from the board. The player that destroys that monster gets to keep it, just for point's sake at the end of the game, just to see who would actually win, if you're actually going to compare scores. And then the cards that were used are discarded. Do you have any more cards to play, or are you done?
I'm done.
You're done. Okay. You can now move monsters at this point. They'll move up 1 ring. And now we draw 2 new monsters. Now go ahead and roll the dice twice. 5. So go ahead and pick one. An Orc Warlord. Okay, that is a special boss tile. Let's quickly take a look at what he does because I forget. Okay, now every boss tile has a special effect. And in this case, the Orc Warlord moves himself forward and any other monster tile that happens to be in his color. So this Orc would also move forward. Now, as far as my turn goes, I've got 6 cards already, so I don't need to draw up as the first step. Second step, I can discard if I want to. In this case, I can discard this mortar because I already have one. So I'm going to discard that, pick up, and I have a blue knight. I can trade cards. Now, let's see, do you have anything that I could use? You have a red knight over there, and there just so happens to be a monster on the red knight ring. So I will trade you. Alright, I'll give you this blue knight card in exchange for the red knight. There's no monster on this area that would actually, I couldn't do anything with him on this turn. But on your next turn, this guy will move forward and be on the knight ring, so you could actually use it on your next turn. Alright, now that we've traded, we can play cards. The red knight, I'll go ahead and play the red knight card. That, in effect, I'll go ahead and target this goblin. He only has 1 life point, so that'll kill him instantly. I'll discard that. I'll go ahead and play this missing card. Do not draw any monster tokens this turn. So I don't have to worry about spawning monsters this turn. I will go ahead and play this draw 2 cards card, which basically I'll just discard that and draw 2 cards. 2 green knights. Alright, and actually that works out to my advantage. Alright, I'll go ahead and play both of these 2 green knights and target these 2 goblins. Both have life points of 1, so both are eliminated. Now this brick and mortar, there are no walls down at the moment, so that won't mean anything right now. The any color swordsman, I could play on this guy here, this orc, for 1 damage. So I'll go ahead and discard that. Now that won't actually kill it. He has 2 life points, so this will rotate to the 1. And that'll be that. Now I really don't have any more cards to play, so that'll end my turn. Now at this point, monsters move up 1 space. In this case, that one moves up, this one moves up. Now this one actually hits this wall. And what happens, these enemies or these monster tokens will take damage for every wall that they hit. So this monster will take 1 damage for hitting this wall. The wall will be eliminated, but can be rebuilt with these brick and mortar cards. And because this monster only had 1 life left, he actually gets destroyed in the process. And the Orc Warlord would move up 1. And I think that's all of them. Now because I played that 1 missing card, I don't have to spawn any monsters this turn. And that ends my turn. So Vinny, you go ahead and draw up to 6. Now you have the option to discard 1 card if you want to. You don't have to. What is that?
I'll discard this. I'll discard this to pick out 1.
Okay.
What I'll do is
all right. Now that you've you can trade now at this point. Is there anything? I really don't have any cards to trade, so you can play as many cards as you want.
I'll do this.
Now, what does that scavenge do?
It lets me search any on that card.
It lets you search the discard pile for a card of your choice. So go ahead and search the discard pile for a card that you want.
I will put this.
So what are you going to do? You're going to keep the draw 2 cards card?
Yes.
Okay.
I did not play this.
Alright, so he's going to play that, draw 2 cards. Alright, now you've got a brick and mortar over there, so do you want to use that and build this wall back?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll play these. My hero, there's no point of using them. Knight.
Your hero is greens, and there's no
Firstly,
monsters over here.
I'll take him down.
Your red swordsman attacks this orc for 1 damage. That takes him from 2 hit points to 1. Okay.
I'll damage that one.
Now, what is this blue knight that you just did?
Take him down by 2.
He'll take him from 3 to 2. Okay, this blue knight. All right.
And I do not know. I can't use this.
Yeah, there's no monsters in the green, so the green hero won't work. The red knight, you've got some monsters over on the red side, but they're not in the knight ring, so that won't work. And the brick is useless by itself. So in that case, that's it. You would simply move the monsters forward 1. This orc over here hits this wall, only has 1 life point left. So, yeah, the wall gets destroyed, but so does he. And this troll moves up to the night ring. Alright, and just one brief thing before we sign off. Let's just say hypothetically that this troll were over here. And if a monster manages to get past the wall stage, and it hits this tower, then just like the wall, the monster tile will take 1 unit of damage, but that'll also destroy the tower. Now, if the monster survives, it'll keep going clockwise around the center ring, destroying any towers that it happens to run into along the way. If all 6 of these towers happen to fall, then we would lose the game. So needless to say, you don't want that to happen. And there you have it. That's just a very brief look at the game Castle Panic. I highly recommend this game. It is a lot of fun. It is a great cooperative game and forces players to work together in order to slay these monsters. In all honesty, if players don't work together and if they don't coordinate the cards that they have and trade them off to each other, they are going to lose. It's just a matter of time. One thing I do like, the game is flexible, so if you find the game too difficult, you can increase your hand limit if you want. That'll give you more options and make the game a little easier. You can also reduce the number of monster tiles that you draw on a particular player's turn. So there's a few different ways that you can make the game more family-friendly than it already is. You can check out my review at www.dadsgamingaddiction.com, or you can click on the link in the below description that'll take you there as well. This is Vince and Vinny Jr. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.